Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is doing well on this fall Tuesday. We are here to play with foil tonight. Just let everyone have another, 10, 15 seconds to jump on here. You guys have heard me talk a lot about Pink and Main over the last couple of months, and we on the PCW team are absolutely loving all of the different options and how easy the foilable, and that is a mouthful. It's probably the hardest thing about foilables is saying the word foilable. It is a bit of a tongue twister, but we are loving how absolutely easy this is to use and to operate and to play with, and it helps create some beautiful backgrounds. But I'm also going to show you some die cuts tonight, like this. We're going to talk about all of these things. We're going to talk about sentiments. We're going to just talk about lots and lots of fun. So when I titled and set up this video, I called it Festive Fun. But then when I started pulling out all of my stuff tonight, I've got some pretty cool Halloween stuff as well. So I think we'll make 1 or 2 Halloween cards. We'll make 1 or 2 holiday cards.
Are those ice cream cones or cupcakes?
Yes. There is an ice cream cone. There are cupcakes. They are festive and cute. So these are made of some of the Pink and Main stamps and dies that we have in store as well. Again, my intention was to have a couple of these colored up to use on my projects tonight, but unfortunately I left the store a little bit later than planned. So we're just going to focus on foils tonight and go from there, but just use some really fun little backgrounds. It's a really easy way to add some sparkle and shine to your projects. And I think I'm just going to start right from the very beginning. So the Pink and Main Foilable series, collection, line, whatever you want to call it, is a fairly comprehensive line of products. And these are printed primarily using toner ink. And so it is very similar to if you had printed them on a laser printer or photocopied them using a toner-based photocopier system. So you know what, I'm going to start off by saying you could, in theory, make some of these yourselves, but this is just going to take the risk and the question and even the design capabilities right out of your hands, and you can just get some good stuff that can make some beautiful cards. So these are all printed on white paper using toner ink, and I'm just going to dig in my little bin over here. So for example, here is one of the holiday ones. I have cut this down to size. They do come in this size, so 8.5 by 5.5 panels. I've cut it down for tonight's purposes, but essentially wherever you see black, that is where the foil is going to stick. So as I mentioned, it is printed using toner ink, and when combined with the heat and pressure of the Mink machine, or full transparency, you could absolutely use a laminator. That heat and pressure is going to turn the toner into a sticky substance that the foil is going to stick to. So that is really the mechanics of what we're doing tonight, is turning this black ink sticky so that the foil will stick to it. Now, let's talk about this guy here. This is the Pink and Main Pink Mink. It is a mini Mink. So Heidi Swap was the originator of the Mink system. She has a larger version. Not that you can see my hands off the camera here, but a larger version as well as the mini. Pink and Main has licensed the Mink name, process, all of that good stuff. And of course, Pink and Main, they have to have this beautiful pink little machine. The primary differences between a Mink machine which, like any system, you are going to have to put a little bit of an investment up front. The main difference between this and, say, the $24.99 laminator that you pick up at Walmart is really the heat. So a laminator, regardless of which model that you have, generally has an on and an off. There's not a lot of variation in there, whereas the Mink machine has 5 different heat settings. Actually 6 if you include 0. 0 is actually, obviously, no heat. Sorry, Matt, can you move to the left a little bit? There we go. Just want to make sure you can see those numbers. 0 would just be that you've got the pressure going through, and I'll explain to you why you would use that a little bit later on tonight. But you can heat this up to a number 5 setting. And in the user guide that you get with your machine, it explains to you why you would use different settings. So it really depends on the material that you are foiling onto. The heavier the material, the more heat that you're going to need. For everything that we're going to do tonight, with maybe one exception where we'll use the 0, if I can get it cooled down enough, we are going to use a 3. 3 is the recommended heat setting for doing this kind of project. And I've now done 2 full days of demos with this machine, and I have never taken it off 3. So you can be pretty reasonably assured that a 3 is a good setting for what we will do as a card making experience, for lack of a better word. If you find that you are getting foil in areas where it's not black and where you don't want it, that means you're too hot. You're going to go down 1 setting. If you find it's not sticking and it is leaving the black behind, it's not hot enough, so you're going to go up. So too much, go down. Too little, go up. That's really the key and the main thing to remember with this. But we're going to go with number 3. Now, I have deliberately and intentionally not turned this on because I want you guys to see just how quickly this will heat up. So
maybe you should get a non-heat related foiling first then, because then it's not hot. Or is that going to mess up your whole plan?
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll just talk to it. It's all good. All right, so I have deliberately not turned it on. On the back here is a little black switch. We're going to start with that. That's really just making sure the power is getting to the machine. And then our gold button here is going to help us do the heat settings. So 0, you can see the red light, 1, 2, and 3. And right now it is a blinking red light, though on my screen across the room it doesn't look red, but trust me, it's red.
Yeah, red doesn't seem to doesn't match up with your camera very well.
Yeah. And can you hear that noise? I don't know if that noise is translating across the airwaves or not. There is a little bit of a mechanical noise, and that is simply the rollers that are rotating inside of here. So those rollers are rotating all the time. Let them go. You will become, what I will say, nose blind, ear blind to that noise, and it is exactly the way it is supposed to be. So we're going to let that heat up. And like I said, I think let me start with, well, maybe let's talk about what else you need. So in your Mink kit, if you are using this, you do get one of these clear plastic, oh, there it is, red through the acetate. This is simply an acetate holder that is going to be your carrier sheet that will just feed your paper through like this. And it just kind of goes. And yeah, I know it's not heated up. I don't have any paper in here. It's all good. There is one that comes in the Mink. You can also purchase additional ones to go along with it. And I do recommend that you pick up an additional pack. There are 2 folders in a pack. Currently, we only have the 6x6, but I do believe they come with larger ones. Look, there it is. It's all heated up already. Once you've got a green solid light, you are good to go. It beeped at you if you wanted an audio sound to let you know it's ready. But that's really all it takes. If you are using a laminator, they recommend that you let your laminator heat up for a minimum of 25 minutes. That's a long, long time. So, you know, yes, absolutely, you can use your laminator, but just know that there are some of these things that you need to keep in mind. Now, if I then walk away, forget about this, and I go to have dinner or get called away, or, you know, Matt calls me on the phone because he's at work and I'm here at crafting, and we forget about this, it will auto shut off as well. So you don't have to worry about this being on 100% of the time. All right, back to carrier sheets. You do get one in the kit. I recommend getting additional ones for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't know if it shows very well here. This little guy had a bit of a mishap. It got jammed and it all crunched up. Now I was able to get it smoothed out and it looks pretty close to good as new. But if something were to happen that you're in the middle of crafting and your folder gums up, it's always good to have a backup. The other reason is, and you'll see as we go through the creating tonight, this is not fast. It goes through very slowly, and that's on purpose because it needs to heat up that toner. It needs to get it sticky. It needs that foil to stick to it, and it needs to just take its time. But what you can do is you can let it go and start getting your second one ready, especially if you're mass producing. So having a few extras on hand is never a bad thing. I'm just going to put that off to the side there so I remember where it is. Other things you need to do foiling besides the foilable sheets, besides the machine, is of course foil. Now this is, so Pink and Main's brand is called Cheer Foil because they have such bright, cheerful colors. They've got some great patterns, some great textures to them. The key thing to know though is they're called transfer foils. So this is the same foil as Deco foil. It is the same foil as Gina K foil. It is not the same foil as Spellbinder's foil. Spellbinder's foil is for the hot plate foil system and will not work in this machine. So as long as you have that word transfer in the name of the product, you are good to go. And then the other thing, the last thing I'm going to show you is this fun little brush. The Pink and Main one is super cute. If you have a nice clean makeup brush or something else that you want to use, that's okay as well. But the number one enemy of this system is dust. And as we get going, I will show you the method. But if you get dust in between your foil and your transfer, you're going to get little splotches because it's going to block the foil from attaching to the paper, to the cardstock.
It's so shiny. It's hard to see that because the camera reflection.
There. You see me? Can you see me? Woohoo! Anyway, so this little guy is designed to wipe down your paper, wipe down your foil, and keep the dust to a minimum. Let me see if I can come over here. Okay, so I think the best thing to do at this point is to just jump right in and let's get foiling because I can talk about this all day long. And where's my little project? It is super easy. It is super fun. Where did I prep? Oh, they're over here. They say I prepped some pieces, but where did they go? So for my project, I've got a couple of pieces of purple cardstock that are going to be the base of my card. I have this cute little pumpkin set, and remember, wherever it shows black is where the foil is going to stick. But I'm also going to show you some tricks on how you can get double use out of your foil as well. So we'll start with that. And this is for the second card, so I'm going to put this off to the side. So I'm going to use this pumpkin. The key to, I'm going to say the key a lot, but there are a lot of keys. Not hard to remember though. The thing to remember when you are cutting your foil is that you want your foil to be bigger than the piece you are working on. If it's the other way around, the toner will transfer to the plastic carrier sheet. Hence these fancy stylized black lines on my carrier sheet. Ask me how I know. It does not damage your carrier sheet. You can still continue to use it. It's just not as pretty as a clean set. So I'm going to do this pumpkin in, I was going to originally do gold, but maybe I'll do orange because this orange is really, really, really pretty. This is the tinsel orange, so you can see it's got kind of that tinsely pattern in it. And Libby, who used to be with Hero Arts, is now working with Pink and Maine. And every Friday at 3 o'clock, she is doing a YouTube live about foiling. So Friday is foil day. And what she did this past Friday, and I haven't watched the entire video yet, but I think it's a fabulous idea, is she created swatches for the bottom of her boxes. So when it's sitting on her shelf, you can just look at the bottom and you will know what color is in that box without having to pull every single one of those out. But I digress. Let's get cutting some foil. Let's foil up these pumpkins out of orange and let's make a card. All right, I'm just going to move this up and out of the way a little bit. Here is how I cut my foil. So let's get it out of the box first. Looks like I have not even used this one yet, so I'm going to peel off this little extra piece of paper. Will it peel off this side too? Yep. And I am going to stretch my paper out here over top of my foil trimmer. This is my foil trimmer that I do use for my Glimmer hot foil. Any foil will work in this trimmer. My blade is still in the case. There we go. And I'm going to put my paper just like this, a little bit over here, and I'm going to slice down this particular channel in my foil trimmer. And whoops, get that ready to go. So my foil is bigger than my paper so that I don't have that toner sticking to my carrier sheet. And let's just keep using this one. So first thing we have to do is dust our paper. Got my dusty tool. This is the only time I'm going to ask you to do housework while you're crafting. Not something I typically do. So I've got that nice and dusted off. And then I'm going to put this in the carrier sheet. The fold is at the top. I'm going to slide this in, and I like to go right to the top. That way I make sure it's nice and snug and even. Foil, I'm putting pretty side down to start with so that I can dust the back of that as well. And then I'm going to flip it back pretty side up. Snug that right into the fold. It's right at the top here. This is all nice and even. And generally what I like to do is kind of roll it down so that any air bubbles are out. The pressure will help on this, but we'll be okay. So now, as long as you make sure you're even in the opening here, and that's how mine got crumpled that one time. I was trying to do it backwards. I was on this side of the machine and tried to do it backwards, and it got crooked, got caught. It was not pretty. But then I just put a piece of cardstock in, put the carrier sheet through a few times, and it smoothed out. So while this is going through, I did tell you that there is a way to get extra mileage from your foil. And that are these full panel foilable toner sheets, as they call them. I have black and white here at home. We do also have silver in the store to create a really fun silver background. And I don't know if you can see it. Once it's done, it just stops rolling. Now this is still hot to the touch right now, and if I were to lift it all out right now, I could pull the toner off when I'm not ready to, just because it's still hot. We want to let it be cool to the touch, which will just take a few seconds, but I'll just keep talking and we'll come back to this. These toner sheets will allow us to use the negative space that we pull off of here. Black and silver, pretty obvious which is the right side and which is the wrong side. The tricky one here is the white one. And it even says the printed side is facing up in this package. So when you're using the white, make sure you only take out one sheet at a time. Make sure it doesn't get flipped over the wrong way. And make sure if you have any extra, you put it right back inside. When we get to the holiday one, I will use this. I think for this one, I'm going to use the black, just because it's a little spookier. But now we are cool to the touch. So I'm gonna lift. And are we ready? Are we ready for the magic? Ooh, get the call out. It's on the other one, I think. So there we go. There we have our, this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It could fit nicely on the card. I think when I actually go to make it, I will trim it down a little bit so that purple shows. But then here, this is where I'm talking about, there is all this luscious, beautiful foil left behind. So we're going to use that. So let me, again, just make some space here. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer.
Wait, what? You're going to use it? You're not going to throw and waste anything?
I'm not wasting even a little bit. Because you know what? There's actually another way you can use this as well. All right, so I'm pulling the black out. It is a 1/2 of a letter size sheet. So I'm going to cut this down to my card panel size. And just out of practice, out of habit, I'm going to put this back in the package so I don't lose it. And there we go. All right. So let's start all over again. I've got my carrier sheet. I am going to dust. Do your housework. Dusty, dusty. I am going to tuck this into the fold. Now this one will be a little bit trickier simply because I have some specific edges that I want to make sure I line up. But I also know that I am going to trim it down a little bit, so if I happen to get it not quite perfect, it will be okay. Maybe I'll do it this way.
No pressure, but Julia's watching.
Hi, Julia. No pressure. Excellent. So here I've got it all lined up. I'm going to push it down from the top fold, blow out any air bubbles, and send it through. And so as you can see, super slow. So you can be getting your next one ready. Should you be mass producing these guys? Should you be making more than one? And that way you don't have to wait while this runs through. All right, so while we're just letting that send through, I am going to trim off. I'm going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4 so it'll fit on my card the way I want it to. Like so. Put it away. Pull this guy out. It's still hot, so we'll let it sit. Tape runner. Just a little bit of adhesive tape. It is more of a glossy paper, but your regular tape runner is going to work just fine. Let's, oh, I'm guessing this panel wasn't 4 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because it's a little bit long. There we go. Might as well trim this one while it's sitting here. Okay, this should be cool now. And watch. Get the ooh already, or the it's so pretty this time, because look. Ooh, it's so pretty. It's got that nice gloss to it. It's got the metallic to it. And this is where you can now see we've used every little bit of foil that's in that center section. But look, there's still foil here. Here's where we can do even more. So now I'm just going to take some double-sided tape and I'm going to make some stripes. Give it a little rub down. I'm going to let's curl it over just so I don't have any sticky bits. Okay, so I've peeled one and not long enough, that's okay. Give it a little burnish. Voila, we have an orange strip. And there's this little piece over here that I missed, so let's add a little bit there. And let's do our second strip. Waste not a bit of this foil. You can use it in so many different ways. All right, so I'm going to give this. And a little bit on the end.
Chris would be so proud of you. She doesn't like to waste anything.
No, Chris does not like to waste things. So there you go. There's some great little stripes. And if you are so frugal that you want to keep all of these little bits, then just grab like an Avery L pocket or one of the Hero Arts pockets, and you can keep all those little bits. I'm moving on. That's going in the trash for me. But so there, that's the start of our Halloween card. All right, so let's trim this one down to 4 by 5 1/4 as well. Well, it's two different looks. And I mean, this would also look cool if you had put it on a silver background. Whoops. All right. So these foilables are fantastic as backgrounds. I mean, I could, in theory, take this and add it to this side, but I'm not going to. But you're saying to me next, I know I can hear you guys shouting across the airwaves, well, how do you embellish it? How do you have sentiments on here? Well, you know, much like my sample cards, which I have buried somewhere over here. Oh, here we go. You could then put a stamped image and the sentiment on there. You could add die cuts. We could have die cut this out of the just with any of your regular dies, but Pink and Maine has gone a step further, and there are foilable die cuts. So these have your sentiments. These have your icons, and I was playing with some rainbow foil. So look at these beautiful guys. So when we get, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's do one more. I'm gonna pull something out of this Halloween one. There are Christmas ones as well, but how about we do the Haunted Mansion? Oh, well, no, I'm gonna do this pumpkin that says Happy Halloween. And so I'm going to put all my little bits in, and maybe I'll bring in, you know, some of those ones that I've got already, but I'm going to do these out of the rainbow foil. And because these are small enough, I can do 2 at the same time.
Dawn is making funny faces.
How do you know what kind of faces Dawn is making?
She's using emojis.
Oh, those kind of funny faces, as long as it's not an angry face. All right. So my bigger piece here is gonna go like that. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Rainbow, are you?
I'm going to use rainbow for both of these because that should be able to fit like that. And my little blade. There we go. Get those, get this. Get my sheet, make sure the fold is at the top. Let's dusty, dusty. Dusty, dusty. Get rid of the blade or I'm going to poke myself. Dust my foil. Now I'm going to try something. And this is not something I have tried before. But this might be a little bit easier to get things into place. So I've actually put the foil in first and I've gone pretty side down. But I'm going to take this guy. So now the not so pretty side of the foil is against the top. That way I can just make sure. Then I will flip and let's watch it go through. This one I am going to guide just because I don't want that second die cut to shift on me. La la la. There we go. So I think what I will do is I want to do the ghost and the not so black cat. Save these guys for another project. As that's going through, let's show you some other samples. So there is a set of toner panels that create this beautiful Christmas tree. And so there's 5 of this one in the pack, and then there's 5 of the We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So that's doing them just as they are created. And then here it is. Now this one is a little bit hard to read. It's a little bit better in person than in camera. I did black behind this one, but this one is super cool with that rainbow going through it as well. So that's again using your positive and your negative, using your toner sheet and the kit, and it just you can really milk the mileage out of this using those toner sheets. These are the ones that came in with your mink just as your sample. And all right, that one's still a little bit warm. All right, close enough. Now again, the foil is bigger than my pieces. It's not going to stick, but now I can just peel and reveal. And I'm going to save this because I could put this on a toner sheet and get some extra sentiments out of there. But how cool is that? And the happy Halloween. So let's bring these over. I'm going to put the haunted house on the black one.
While you're putting them together,
yep.
Have you talked through why someone would want to foil using this versus the hot foil?
I have not.
And why should I choose one or the other?
All right, so that is an excellent question. If you did not hear Matt through my microphone, his question is, why would someone want to use, or how would you choose? How would you choose between this and the Glimmer foil system? And it's not an easy answer. Both machines require a degree of it, or both systems require a degree of investment up front, in that with the Glimmer machine, you need obviously a Glimmer machine and a die cutting machine, as well as a selection of plates. So the upfront investment is probably a little bit bigger. Most of us have die cutting machines, so that's not so much of a problem, but the Glimmer machine and then the plates can be, something that are a little bit more expensive to start with. But with a hot foil plate, you can use it over and over again. You could use it 500 times if you wanted to and still have lots of use out of it. However, the mink machine will have a shorter or a smaller initial investment. Where did he fit there? I thought he fit in there. Oh, I'll just put him sitting up there like that. And the supplies that you're purchasing are consumable. So buying a pack of foilable sheets is not going to be as expensive as buying a hot foil plate. But, you know, other than, you know, doing the double duty where you have the toner sheets as well, once they're gone, they're gone. Now, a lot of us love the shiny thing, love the new thing, love getting seasonal things, using them up and moving on. So in that case, this foilable system really appeals to someone who likes to have the latest and greatest without a whole selection of plates that maybe you use once or twice. So there are definitely pros and cons to both sides. I don't know if I've articulated that as well tonight as I have in the past, but I think just it really comes down to upfront investment versus having to keep buying because you use up the foilable sheets, just like you use up the foil. So comes down to a personal preference at that point and what you like to do.
There seems to be more background options for this system.
There definitely are a lot of background options, and with the Mink system, and learning curve on this is, as you've seen, virtually nothing. So where the Glimmer hot foil system, you do have to be a little bit more diligent in how hot is it, how cool is it, how much pressure, do I have it right, do I have the right paper? This one is fairly straightforward. I mean, you can, if you do one foiling panel, you are pretty much a pro. There's not a whole lot more to know about this. When we were showing this at the last event that we were at, I know one of the ladies, I don't know if Linda's on tonight or not, she picked this up because she wanted to do it with her grandchildren. They love to craft with her, but getting out the Glimmer, getting out all of that stuff and maybe having it work and maybe not having it work. This one was definitely something that she could use with them fairly consistently and without a whole lot of supervision. I mean, when you're dealing with heat, you always want to have some supervision, but certainly would be easier for a younger crafter or someone who really just wanted it to work right every single time. Okay, so that is our 2 Halloween cards.
The other question I can ask on this.
Okay, Matt's got another question.
Not here, but
yep.
Will other brands toner
yep.
and foil things work with this?
Yes. So the question is, do you have to use Pink and Main products with the Pink and Main Mink machine? The answer is absolutely not. Like I said, yeah, I mean, you can absolutely use the Pink and Main foil. You can use Deco foil. You can use Gina K foil. As long as it says transfer foil, the foil works.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
So if somebody bought the Fuse.
Yep. So if you have the Fuse machine from Gina K, pretty much the same thing, just a different brand. If you are using Gina's Polyglaze sheets, which is similar in process, that it's got a special ink on the paper that allows it to melt and adhere to the foil as opposed to the toner ink, absolutely you can use that in this machine as well. Anything that is for use with a laminator, a Mink, a Fuse, and the foil says transfer foil, you are good to go. All right, next up, let's make a holiday card. So where did my stuff go? I just got some red glitter paper, and that's just for my background. Da-da-da. I did have this. Oh, here we go. So I have this little piece here, and I have this little piece here that says hope, love, light, peace, joy, all that good stuff. I'm going to switch and I'm going to do these in gold, but I'm going to add some extra elements to it after we foil. So it's very easy to get carried away and have all kinds of colors of foil. But if you want to start small and only have a couple of colors, like I'm going to use gold next, I'm going to show you some ways that you can add color to your project without it necessarily being foil color. All right, so let's grab this. And if I do this, yeah, I can get 2 on one piece.
Nina says that her kids use her.
Oh, is Nina watching too?
Yeah.
Hey, Nina.
Her kids use it for Christmas things every year.
Yep, absolutely a great way to let your kids get in on the crafting. All right, gonna cut this down. And my panels, my foil. So do your housework, do your chores, dusty, dusty. Like so. Whoops. And then dust off my foil. Because if there are any of those little specks of dust, all right. And I think that actually worked really well for me if I put the foil in first. Pretty side down. Because it can be really staticky depending on how dry your craft room is, how dry your climate is. Stick that in there. Stick this in here. Turn it over, make sure there's no air bubbles, and let's feed it through. I'm just holding it so that that second panel doesn't shift on me. It is, yes. So like I said, there are some holiday die cuts that you can use as well. There's also some great ones with sentiments that we can use, but I'm going to do something different.
If it wasn't for the cutting of the foil part, I could actually use this to make cards.
You know what, guys? How many of you think Matt could do this? Matt could absolutely do this. You'd be able to cut the foil. That would not be a problem. All right, I'm going to grab my waffle flower mat because the nice thing about this paper is that you can ink blend on it. What? Okay. Someone's getting a little punchy over there. All right, so here's our peel and reveal. Look at that. So pretty. Again, I'm going to save that for later because I can make a second card out of that. Look, it's so shiny. So I think my holly leaves I'm going to leave as it is. I have a plan. But the joy, peace, hope, and love, I just got my lumberjack plaid distress ink and a blending brush. Yeah, that'll work. And let's just add some red to the edges. Actually, you know what? I'm going for broke.
Oh, all in.
All in. Because it is that glossy finish. It could be that the ink is covering it up.
Okay, it looks different on camera.
Okay. What you do when you're done is you just take a microfiber cloth or a paper towel and you buff it. So I'm covering.
So you could multicolor this.
You could do a multicolor, absolutely. But there we go. Some pretty good coverage. All right. And that's just using distress ink. You can use pretty much any blending ink that you may have. I don't know that I would necessarily do oxide. Oxide might be a little too thick, but now I'm just going to buff it. And that glitter, that foil paper just really starts to shine. Okay, so now I'm going to peel this off here. My mat is very sticky. There we go.
It wasn't the lighting.
Yeah, it could just be the lighting, absolutely. All right, so now I'm gonna make my card. This is gonna be the center of my panel. I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna cut it in half. So right now it is 2 3/4. Half of 2 3/4 is okay. We're gonna do one strip that is 1 3/4 and one that is 1, because I don't do math. And I need to cut. Doesn't matter. I'm cut now, and I'm gonna cut this down to 4, and this down to 4, so that it'll fit.
Donna says that we're killing her, but I don't know if that's because I'm making her laugh, or if because
Wow.
Because in the second part of her statement is that her visa is screaming and running away.
Well, you know, Santa is coming. So I'm just now attaching this to my red glitter paper. And leaving a little bit of a gap.
I'm impressed you can keep that straight.
Well, I was just about to say, I don't know that it is straight necessarily. And this piece is now a bit too big. So let's.
Whenever I try to do something like that, it's always perfect.
Yep. But the nice thing about a handmade card is it does not have to be perfect. There is no judgment.
And there's no perfectionists here.
Matthew, if you made me a card, I would not even remotely.
No, I'm not talking about me making a card.
Oh. All right. So there we go. There is the base of my card. But we're not done yet, because there is one more foilable product that I want to share with you tonight, and that is the stickies. But wait, there's more. Stickies are like a rub-on, but when you pull off the top sheet, it is sticky, so the foil will stick to it. And this is the example that I was thinking of, that if you were using the 0 setting and you're just getting pressure, then you would use the 0 setting for this. I don't think you necessarily need it for something small like this, but if you were to do even a big piece here, I'm going to use my finger, but sometimes you will want to do this, or put it through your Spellbinders machine, your Big Shot, what have you, with nice, smooth, clean plates, just so that you get even pressure distribution across the whole thing. What is it you're looking for, Matt?
Where's your pressure tool?
Yeah, you could absolutely use your pressure tool as well. All right, my little paper here is not sticking to my glitter, so I may have to go back in with some liquid glue, but for tonight, let's just take one of these. I'm gonna grab, where was that white paper? So here's my white paper. Let's get this out so I've got better lighting. Let's take one of these. So we've got peace, joy, hope, love, light. Let's just do be merry right down here in the bottom corner. So I'm just cutting out around the shape. I'm going to peel off the backing. So this just goes in the trash. Well, I just started peeling and that's what came away. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it just here in this bottom corner here, and literally just using my finger. If you were to use a bone folder or something that has more of a sharper edge, you could scratch and the transfer might not be as clear. This is where you could go in with your pressure tool as well. Now, before I peel it, I better have my foil ready. Let's just do the gold again. Not a bad idea to just get in the habit of dusting everything, even though this isn't getting the hot foil. It should be big enough. There we go. And then I can just, I'm going to turn it this way because I don't need all of that. Let's just do this. So that's just an extra piece that I can use for one of those die cuts. Oh, yeah, no, I did show the foilables, didn't I? I was going to show the white one, but I think you guys got the hint or got the trick. All right, so I'm just giving that one more rub. Let's lift it up. Fat fingers. There we go. Okay, so here, the black is coming with the sheet. That is okay. That is, because now if I touch it, it's not sticky. But let's see if I can get this on the camera. There you go. That is the sticky part. Now I don't want to touch it because I don't want to ruin it. Now it's just like double-sided tape. I'll put this down, and again. Well, that's why you want to keep the foil kind of the same size as the piece that you're cutting. Okay, if you're feeling it resisting, probably means you need to give it a little bit of a firmer rub. You don't want it to fight you. It should just pull beautifully like so. There we go. And there's your bee, Mary. Now, with this particular set of sticky, there is a coordinating die that you could use to cut it out. It might take a little bit of patience to line it up properly. So instead, nope, not big enough.
And everybody has some sort of die set.
Yeah, I'm sure you have lots of that. I'm actually just going to grab my paper trimmer. I've only got squares and circles here, and I put it too close to the bottom. But and like that. And let's do a little dovetail. All right, as I'm finishing this up, is there anything anybody would like me to show again? Are there any questions? Go ahead and type those in the comments while I get this assembled. And like I said, this one where I had it on my grip mat is a little bit curly, so I'm just gonna, mostly because it's on that glitter paper. Let's just add some reinforcements under there. There is one last thing I'm going to show. I don't know if I'm actually going to create it, but I know Libby has done some great samples using it, and it's super cool. So this I can just put here. Let's grab some foam squares. Any comments yet, Matt?
Mari says hi.
Hi, Mari. No questions? Nothing you want me to show again? While you are always welcome to come back and watch on replay. We will have the mink out at our holiday open house at the end of the month. So if you want to actually come and get hands on, you can do so. There we go. So there is my card all finished up. So going back to the ink blending, let me cap my glue before it dries. This is one that I'm really excited to play with. I just haven't had a chance yet. There are sets like this where you've got, this one comes with 8 sheets. They are this full 5.5 by 8.5 that have this beautiful holly and foliage pattern on it. That absolutely, you could just take these guys and foil them and be done. Maybe go in and color the little hollies if you wanted to, just with a marker or with Nuvo drops or something like that. Given the size of the carrier sheet that we currently have, you would probably have, or not probably, you would have to cut it in half and do it in 2 halves, but most often you're going to cut them in half anyways to use on your card. But what's extra fun with this one is there is a coordinating layered stencil that once you foil it, you can add that stencil on top in order, is there a picture on the back? Here's a better picture. So you can foil it and then color it in. The stencil is also fairly self-sufficient in that even if you, so say you use all these up, we didn't have any more, we couldn't get them anymore, you can still continue to use this stencil to create the leaves and the berries as well. You just wouldn't have the foliage in between. Libby did, like I said, did a really stunning sample. I'll repost it. I think I did post it a little while back, or maybe I just showed it when we brought these in, where she used tones of blue. So you don't have to even use traditional colors. You could pick your favorite colors, have a light and a medium and a dark, and shade to your heart's content this beautiful pattern. And again, really simple, really easy. You throw a sentiment on there, you call it done. So folks, that is it for me tonight with the Pink and Main Foilables. I always have trouble saying that word, but I do not have trouble having fun with this amazing system that they've got going. And don't get me wrong, I love my glimmer too, and there are a lot of ways where the glimmer, you know, does the things that I need to do. But if you want fast, easy, no learning curve, affordable solution for your foiling options, I recommend Pink and Main Hot Foil. Get rid of all the trash, leave you just with the pretty cards, and there you have it. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Good night.